Hey guys, PrinceofMacedon here. I'm going to be doing a commentary video for Total War Rome 2. And I'll be using this Macedonian army proposed and created and utilized by Attilla the Great. He is a fellow YouTube commentator, and at one point he was at the top of the Rome 2 ladder ranking, so he actually knows his stuff. So anyways, this army consists of a Royal Peltist for the general, 4 Thessalian Cav, 4 Peltist, 3 Hoplites, 3 Thorax Swords, and 3 Thurio Spears. My opponent's name is John Doe, commanding the Seleucids. His army consists of 2 Hellenic Cataphracts, 4 Persian Light Archers, 2 Silver Shield Pikemen, 1 Silver Shield Swords, and 4 Thorax Swordsmen, and finally 1 Thurio Spear. So this is the Pyramids map. I'm going to start down here. And we will look at the tactical overhead. I am yellow on the tactical overhead there. I'm going to move up. My opponent is red. So you can see he deployed towards the red line. Not sure why, because he is moving forward now. So let's go look at my troops that composes this army here. I have 4 units of Thessalian Cav. Pretty cheap unit, but they have a very great charge bonus. So excellent unit if used properly. My general, the Royal Peltist. I have 1 of these guys in my army. Pretty expensive, but totally worth the cost. Then I have 3 units of Thorax Swordsmen. They will compose the front ranks of infantry next to my Royal Peltist. And in the back ranks of my infantry, I have units of Thurio Spears, 3 of them. They will be my reserve unit, just behind the Peltist. They got these Hoplites. I have 3 of these guys, and 2 of them will support my Cav on both wings, and I got 1 in the very back of my entire army. Then I have 4 units of Peltist, and they're going to go forward and attack the enemy's infantry. But they can also absorb the enemy's skirmishers if he had that many. So that is the formation. I jacked that formation from Attilla the Great's one of his videos, where he utilized his army. And of course, I'm going to have to use it a little bit differently than the way he used it against his opponent. But in spirit, it'll be the same. So here's my opponent's Seleucid army, John Doe. So 2 Hellenic Cataphracts, and you can see the rest of them right there. And he's going to move away from the red line right there. And let's go look at his troops. He has these Silver Shield pikemen. He has 2 of those guys. Very elite pike unit. Then he's got these units of Thorax Swordsmen. He has 4 of these guys. I was a little worried by that. And then he has a unit of Silver Shield Swordsmen. And I don't believe these guys play that huge of a role in this battle, but they're still cool to look at. You don't see them too often, but they're pretty expensive at large funds battle. Then he has a unit of Thurio Spears, and then 4 units of Persian Light Archers. I wasn't too worried about those, but I know my Peltist, even though they don't have the range of Persian Light Archers, they do have serious armor. And finally, he has 2 units of Hellenic Cataphracts, which I will neutralize with my Hoplites and my Thessalian Cav, and also Thurio Spears. So he's going to come forward and meet my army. And let me digress for a minute. I'm going to talk about this formation that I'm using that I jacked from Attilla the Great. So you can see John Doe is in the very back. He's way back there. This is the pyramids. You can see the pyramids in the back. And my army and formation, totally taken from Attilla the Great. So let's go ahead and show you what I've got. I'm going to first deploy my Royal Peltist right there on the front. That's my general. He'll be deployed right next to the Thorax Swordsmen. So remember, there's 3 of them. And their job is to rush enemy's infantry after the enemy's Cav is neutralized. And just behind them, I put my 4 units of Peltist. As I said, they don't have the range of archers, but they're heavily armored. They can absorb a lot of the enemy's missiles. And they're quite tough and resilient. And just behind them, I have 3 units of Thurio Spears. That is my reserve line of infantry. They can reinforce my left or right wing, or also reinforce the attack in the middle with my infantry. But on the right and left wing, I have my Thessalian Cav. Their job is to charge the enemy's Cav, neutralize them, and then take out the enemy's skirmishers and launch hammer and anvil strikes too. But I can't engage superior Cav without using these Hoplites nearby, so do not engage enemy's Cav unless the Hoplites are nearby. And in the very back of my army, I have 1 extra unit of Hoplite, and they have an experienced chevron. So a lot of this advice that I'm telling you right now was taken from Attilla the Great's army. So back to the battle here. I'm going to proceed forward here. Here's the tactical overhead once again. I am yellow. And up there is the enemy's formation. His Hellenic cataphracts disappeared from the overhead. They are hidden at the moment. But I'm going to come forward here. And you can kind of see the formation. My peltas are leading the way, though. As I said, I can't, copy his formation verbatim. I have to adapt to the situation. And I want to thank Praetorian Core for recommending the letter N key. So I'll be utilizing the insert, delete, and letter N for this video. So it's a combination of all three buttons and other cinematic views as well. So he's going to come forward and he's going to put his Persian light archers in the front, and I'm just going to put my peltas in the front to absorb their missiles. See, I definitely want my peltas in the front. Absorb the enemy's missiles, and also to harass the enemy's infantry lines too. Javelins are very destructive in Rome too. So as I come forward, you can see his Persian light archers start shooting me up. I wasn't too worried though, because my guys, my peltas, they carry these really big shields. They carry lots of armor, considering that they're only supposed to be skirmishers. See that? Like it's almost useless to targeting them with your archers, but it's kind of a waste of ammo. But you can see my opponent is launching his cataphracts on both wings, and I'm gonna make a micro mistake on my right wing. For some reason, I just don't notice him charging my other cav. I do notice it on the other wing. See that? I'm pulling my Thessalians away from his cataphracts, and I'm moving my hoplites nearby to support my Thessalians. That was one of Attila the Great's advice for using this army. So here's where I made my huge micro mistake right there. See that? He charged right into my Thessalians. I cannot believe that happened. I wanted to show it to you though, just to make sure that you saw my micro mistake. That should not have happened. So he charged in, and he took out a significant portion of my Thessalians. So now he's going to come forward with his silver shield pikes and his thorax swords, and I'm going to leave my peltas right there. I'm just going to leave them right there, so when he does get stuck on them, then my next line of infantry, my swords, my rail peltas can throw javelins at those guys as they're stuck on my peltas. So this is my next line of infantry. That's where my general's at, and also my thorax swords. They didn't quite hurl their javelins as I planned, but whatever. It's a learning process. So look at that action. Yeah, of course, I probably should have pulled my peltas away from his phalanx units right there. That was another micro mistake. But back on the right, you can see my Thessalians are finally getting some support. Sorry, this is my left wing. Sorry, this is my left wing. But yeah, I'm totally hammering his cataphracts over here. I'm using my Thurio spears to support, because he brought in some infantry support as well. So I brought in a reserve unit of Thurio spears, plus my hoplites, and I also have I have an extra unit of Thessalians ready to pounce. See them? They're kind of just chilling back there, choosing a right target to strike. So now my main infantry is engaged with his main infantry, but he has incurred a lot of damage from my javelins though. Meanwhile, his archers are shooting my guys. That's fine. And there are his silver shield swords engaged with my guys. But finally, back on the right, I did bring up a unit of hoplites to engage his cataphracts. Because earlier he caused tons of damage when I didn't notice him charging me. But I had enough time to bring up my hoplites. And now that's going to cause his guys to eventually break and rout. As you pull away from enemy cav, it's pretty destructive on your guys, just withdrawing from them, because you're going to incur a lot of damage. And I did pull off a unit of infantry chasing after his Persian light archer. You can see that. But look at his Hellenic cataphracts getting routed there. That was awesome. Even after my micro mistake, I was able to take out his cataphracts on that side. He did pull out his other cataphracts, but over there, look at that. Totally pulling away my Thessalians. I see a target. I can launch hammer naval strikes on his infantry engaged with mine, and I can also strike the enemy's skirmishers. Now you're going to watch a series of hammer naval strikes, and this is what Thessalians are great for, like charging, especially charging the backs of infantry. So we're just going to watch my Thessalians bounce from target to target, threaten his archers. But I did take out my other Thessalians from the other wing to take out his archers. and I use my Thessalians from the left to take out the backs of his infantry. See that? That's completely rupturing his infantry line. So he activated shield wall at the last minute resort, which didn't do anything at that point. And gonna do a few more hammer and anvil strikes with these guys before I turn completely on his archers. So that's a strike on his silver shield pikes. That's a huge target. Because from the fronts they're really tough, but from behind they're pretty ordinary. So here comes my charge finally on his Persian light archers. And my cav is depleted at this point, so I definitely have some infantry coming up nearby to support. These are my victorious infantry from the left. Thoreau spears and hoplites coming to engage his Persian light archers too. But he still has some infantry right there engaged with my infantry. He has 4 units. One is starting to break though. But as for his light archers, they're breaking, and that's pretty much going to be the end of the battle. So I want to thank Attila the Great for building this army, telling me how, or showing me how to use it, and yeah, just honor me by considering me to use this army. And you can see the damage here, pretty good stuff. I'm gonna put the link to Attila the Great's YouTube channel so you can check it out. I totally recommend you subscribe to it. He's a very great player, and he does his commentary in English. It's not his first language though, but check him out, please.